Welcome back. We told you about this story yesterday, and you have a lot to say about it. Debra Harrell is out on bond now and charged with unlawful conduct towards her child. She's admitted to leaving her 9-year-old in a local park while she works during the day. Ever since the story broke, the mom's online support is growing after losing custody of her daughter. A stranger has launched a crowdfunding campaign on youcaring.com called Support Debra Harrell. It's raised over $16,000 so far. Her attorney, Robert Phillips, is joining me now. Robert, great to talk to you about this. We certainly have a lot of comments. I want to get to them from Facebook, and I want you to answer a few of them. The first one says this. Let's get to it. Catherine Coleman writes, there is nothing wrong with her being at the park. She had a cell phone to call mom, and kids go to school without parents all the time at her age to play. What is the difference? So that's what a lot of people are saying. What's your comment on that in terms of, look, a lot of people say, okay, you can play in the park alone. Do you find there's a correlation between your client and that?
Well, that's exactly what it is. I mean, this was a 9-year-old child. This was not a 2-year-old. And what the charge is, even though it's called unlawful neglect, what she's accused of is failing to provide for adequate arrangements for the child. This was a 9-and-a-half-year-old, very mature, very smart child. She lived about a 6-minute walk from her house. She had a key to her house, and she had a cell phone. So we believe that she was adequately caring for her child. But the state of South Carolina thinks this is improper abandonment of the child, and therefore she's been charged with a felony.
There is another side to this, but people on Facebook, again, seem to be siding with your client. Amy writes this: how is this different from a stay-at-home parent allowing kids to roam a neighborhood or play out in the woods without supervision? I grew up doing the same thing, but I will say, did your client use this park as a babysitter? And what if something did happen? She's lucky that it didn't, and she did have a cell phone, but you put your child at risk the longer you put them out in a situation without supervision.
Well, the key is what is reasonable, you know. This was not a park that she had never been for, and this is a case where a lot of times when you have criminal cases, it's a dispute of fact. Did she do this or did she do not? In this case, there's really not a lot of dispute. There are some minor details that need to be worked out, but essentially we admit that Mrs. Harrell did drop her child off at the park, but this is a park that is about 3,000 feet from her home. She had been there on numerous occasions. She had walked there with her friends before on other days. She'd ridden her little electric scooter there and played. There was a very nice water park. There was a city program that was giving out free breakfast, free lunch.
That she was safe there. I do have to mention your client does have a criminal history. Do you think that's relevant to this case and how good a parent she will be or will not be if she's given the child back?
It would be improper for me to talk about any kind of criminal history. Generally, in criminal prosecution cases, criminal histories or criminal records are inadmissible, so it would be improper for me to make a comment on that, good, bad, or otherwise.
Luckily, Robert, we do have attorneys on standby. I do want to bring Joey in on this. Do you think there is relevance, and could it be held against her?
Well, let's talk about this. It may be relevant in terms of the charge itself, but what about as far as punishment? And I'm sympathetic to this, and yesterday, Mr. Phillip, I was talking about this, and the system needs some compassion. I get that, and she was trying to work and do the right thing, but certainly we don't want parents to do that. So have you entered into any discussions or negotiations with the district attorney's office to help resolve this?
Yes, it's interesting. Something some people don't know is David Miller is the, we call them solicitors. Other states call them district attorneys. We call them solicitors in South Carolina. He's actually one of my very best friends for the last 14 years. He's been over to my house. He's stayed in Charlotte with his wife, and we've gone out to
Robert, we
dinner.
only have about a couple seconds left.
I hope that friendship...
Welcome back. We were talking to attorney Robert Phillips before the break. He's representing Debra, the mom who left her 9-year-old in the park. And I do want to let you finish your thought, Robert.
Thanks, Susan. Contrary to what's been said in a lot of media outlets, I do not believe this was racially motivated. I know the solicitor. He is one of the most ethical, professional prosecutors I've ever met. If he ran for Attorney General, I would vote for him. The difference in this case is this child was left in the park with other kids, and he thinks that is, or his client, the state of South Carolina, thinks that is not adequately providing for this child. I do. There is nothing improper about this prosecution from his position. He's an ethical lawyer. He's a great lawyer, and we just disagree.
Philip, at the end of the day, what does your client get? How do you resolve this in a favorable way that brings together what she did being wrong, but at the same time preserves the family relationship and allows her to move forward and live her life?
Well, her child has been returned. She was returned this morning. Mr. Miller and I are in discussions. We are trying to work out this issue. He represents the state of South Carolina, and he has his clients to look out for. And we are trying to bring this to a resolution that will be in the best interest. And I truly believe all David wants is what's best for this child, and what's best for this woman, and what's best for the community.
All right, Robert.
And we're trying to resolve our...
well, I hope you resolve it in a very favorable way.
Because we're certainly thinking about the
Yes,
9-year-old in this case. Robert Phillips, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Guess what, guys? It's time for...
For what?
Fired Up Friday. Roll the tape.
Because I need you to come outside because you're putting your child in danger of getting crunched in the loud music.
Megan Christopherson says she was shocked and scared when this Chula Vista police officer ordered her and her daughters to move out of the pit area as Brad Paisley began playing.
My child has